I was straight up not gonna make this video at first. I had this game recommended to me. I saw like some screenshots of it, and I thought, oh, it sounds cool. And after I played through it, I was just really sort of underwhelmed. Like, I thought, okay, yeah, that was cool, but I didn't have anything to talk about. And I think what happened is I kind of just expected this game to be something completely different than what it actually is. From what I had seen and from just like the first minute of this game and just the whole game on its outside in general, I thought this was going to be more of like a horror game. Like, I thought this was straight up going to be like Silent Hill or something. And then I played it and it's just sort of like nothing happened. And the story's over really quick. Like, you can beat this game in basically like 40 minutes. So I was just kind of like, okay, cool. But then after I had beaten the game and I kind of thought about it for a minute, I came back to it, I played it some more, and it started to grow on me because I realized that this game is kind of interesting. It's really not about like the main story. Like, that's I guess the main thing to do is to get the ticket and leave BABBDI. But it really seems to be more about just kind of exploring this world. Like, that's what they're encouraging you to do. They have all these like different secret items and like side quests that you can do. And really just like that's the main kind of draw of this game, is how you can just kind of walk around this world. It really is similar to like a Gmod map that I would play and just sort of explore around. So yeah, this game really grew on me, and I actually quite like it. As weird as it is, it's sort of charming in a way, and it's not a horror game like at all. It has some creepy elements sort of, but it's really just seems like it's more trying to be just like weird, surreal, bizarre, and for me, what I got out of it, it's really just kind of depressing. Like, this whole world is just very bleak. This whole city of BABBDI, it's just like abandoned. It's not super colorful or bright. The people all just seem kind of sad. I mean, everyone wants to leave. That's literally the main point of the game. It's the main storyline, is find a way to leave this shitty town. It's very sort of dreamlike, honestly. It doesn't make full sense. It's not a very realistic place to explore. There's like ledges like this that like connect different buildings, and there's apartments and people living in these apartment rooms, but there's not actually like any way to like get from the floor that you're on down to the ground level. There's no like stairwells or anything. It's just like stuff like that. And kind of synergizing with that is there's a lot of like AI art. There's a big theme of like AI art in this game. Especially like there's signs all around that I think are probably like AI generated, because they almost make sense, but they don't really. Like Destarant here is a pretty good one in my opinion. It all comes together to make a very dreamlike world. A little bit creepy, a little bit mysterious and surreal, and genuinely pretty fun to explore around. I think Tolt is probably one of my more favorite signs here. But yeah, this game is very short, both in sort of like length to complete it, and also the map is fairly small once you get used to it. So there's really only so many places you can explore, and maybe you need only like, I don't know, 4 hours to get the absolute most out of this game. So I'm not going to talk forever about like the atmosphere or the liminality of the world of BABBDI or anything like that. And besides, I think a lot of other people have made videos on this game and probably will talk about it better than me. Instead, I'll just sort of list off a bunch of things that I noticed, or kind of just interesting things, topics about this game and this world. I guess first I'll talk about like, what the hell is BABBDI? Like I said, this world is very surreal. I'm not convinced that the creators really had like any like deep lore in mind. I think it's just supposed to be kind of like a nonsensical, weird dream world. But nonetheless, I think it is always kind of fun to like pick away at things like this and kind of theorize about it. This is definitely a game ripe for having a bunch of fan theories about it. Like, first off, we know that a lot of people are trying to get a train ticket to get out of town, but why is the rail station not selling them anymore? Like, you talk to this big head guy, and he says, we don't issue these anymore, which is like, why? You know, the trains come through the town. If you actually go into the train station, you see trains passing by all the time. So why are no tickets being sold anymore? I don't know. Is there a reason? Is the government specifically trying to trap the citizens of BABBDI in the town? And I start to think maybe like there's some sort of disease or something going through the town, or maybe I don't know, some toxic waste or something that's infected the citizens. I mean, if you look at them, it's not that, you know, far-fetched of an idea. And maybe that's why they're not allowed to leave anymore, because, you know, the government's afraid that they're going to start infecting the rest of the country or the world or something. It's really hard to get over ledges with the pick. Ooh, that was a good one. Yes! Now, I know I said this isn't really a horror game, but there are a few kind of creepy things to it. There's this one room over here. It's more just like a hallway, actually. And as you can see, it has these weird, like, curtains, like, on the wall here, and they're just glowing, like, orange and red. And it's really bizarre. I'm looking at these and trying to figure out what these are. And what's worse is when you walk through this door here, yeah, it literally just gives you that weird, super creepy, like, music sting. Which, like, why is that there? Nothing changes. Like, as far as I can tell, it doesn't signify anything except that it's right next to this room, which I already think is creepy. So I don't know. There's something off about this hallway for sure. I feel like there's something horrible behind these curtains happening. But I have no idea. There's also this guy over here where this actually scared me a little bit the first time I saw this. But you walk over here and the slit opens. You see this fucking creepy face here. If you look in a little, you can see that it's actually just another big head, a huge head. And he just tells you to piss off, basically. I don't know. I find that very funny how, like, this guy's here and he opens the slat just to tell you, get out of my sight. Like, you didn't have to open the slat. I didn't knock or anything. You can actually go, like, from there over here. You can walk over to this sort of alley area over here and just climb over this fence. And now you're in this, like, back area. And you can go over here. But if you go all the way to this wall, which is, like, this is where that guy would be, you know, on the other side of this wall of boxes. But there's no way to get around this. So it's kind of a weird thing. Like, why did this guy box himself in? Like, what is going on in there? It's a little creepy, but I also like to think that he's just like a massive introvert and he doesn't want to be bothered by anyone. So he just, like, shut himself in there. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about. It's also very cool that you can go on the other side of these grates. At first, I thought maybe it's just an inaccessible area, but no, you can actually find your way back here. And I think that's pretty cool. It's always cool when you can see, like, an area in a game before you can access it. Oh, here's another weird kind of creepy thing. After this guy moves from the beginning, I forget his name, but his shadow stays behind. Like, that's bizarre. There's also just the NPCs themselves. I mean, looking at these guys, they're not exactly, like, the most friendly looking people. Similar to the game itself, they kind of look creepy on the outside, but there's really nothing wrong with them once you talk to them. Except for Sewer Oil Lady. She is foul. But I mean, yeah, the citizens of BABBDI are kind of just, I guess, quirky. Like, I don't know, they have a weird charm for some reason. Like, Arthur here is lying flat, whatever that means. But at the end of the day, I actually just kind of feel bad for most of the citizens of BABBDI. I mean, first of all, they're living in BABBDI, which is like a nightmare city. It's really not pleasant at all. It's all just like decaying and just like not good. Like there's Janine here. She's just like this old lady trying to take her groceries home, and she says to herself, one step at a time, I can make it home. Like that's, I feel so bad. I just want to help her get her groceries home. She's trying so hard. There's also the main quest, which is really quite sad in and of itself. I mean, you have the character Asker, who, you know, first he says he got a train ticket so he could get his sick wife out of town. You know, presumably for her to like see a doctor or something, right? But she dies before they could even take the train out of town. So he gives you the train ticket because he literally just like has no use for it anymore. And that's really a really sad way to get out of town, honestly. There's also Holfred here. I mean, this guy kind of gives you the willies when you first talk to him. He says, I remember when you were just a child. We had such a great time with your mother. And the music he's playing is not exactly the most, like, peaceful stuff, also. But honestly, just, like, after I thought about what he said, it kind of made me a little sad, because this could be completely genuine, you know? It makes me think of, like, an old family friend or something, and now he's getting up in age. You know, everyone he knew and loved is either leaving the town or died. So, like, all he has left is his memories of a much better time. But I guess I'll finish this video off with some more positive aspects. Despite how, like, kind of weird and creepy and sad this town is, it has some kind of, charming areas to it. Almost pleasant areas, at least compared to the rest of the town. Like, I kind of thought the canal area was kind of fun. I mean, there's lots of grass here. There's a lot of sunlight. There's, like, this old machinery that you can play around with. And, of course, water. I love water areas in games. Especially, like, different canals and like, little tunnels. I don't know why. I just think that stuff is fun. Also, if you follow the canal around, you'll find these huge open spaces at either end of the map. And these are just like so cool to me. I don't know what it is, but I really like being in just like a wide open space or being next to just like a massive object. It feels cool. I don't know how else to explain it. It's a really cool feeling. And these areas are just huge, but it's not even like you're blocked off from visiting them. Like, you can just walk right to these areas. There's nothing really in them, as far as I know. There's no like secrets or anything. Maybe you guys know something that I don't. Yeah, I appreciate that there's a lot of places in this game that's just like, there's no really point to go there besides just being there, just exploring. And yeah, that's kind of cool. I like it. Possibly the most tranquil place in this whole town is here in the Spielplatz. If you go down this way, there's this little area down here, and it's just like a little place down here with the grass, some bushes, and there's a pool here. And actually, there's an NPC in here, Agrafina. At first, I thought maybe she was like a corpse floating, but she seemed to be breathing. So I choose to believe she's just floating on her back in the water and enjoying this area. I mean, look at this. You could totally just like sit on the grass here and enjoy yourself. If I was forced to live in this world, I feel like I would visit this area a lot. It just seems nice. I don't know. The ambience is also pretty nice. You can actually hear birds chirping. Another place that's really cool to visit is up here on top of the big dam that sort of looks over the city. On the other side of this dam, there's actually a whole like ocean, or at least a massive lake here. And I've always loved being at the edge of like a huge body of water. It feels very liberating. And it's kind of peaceful up here too. I don't feel sort of like crammed and trapped down in the bowels of the city. Now there is something kind of fun you can do. There is like a wall here, an invisible wall that keeps you from going out into the ocean. But I found out that you can just drop down here, and through these first few squares, you can just come right out, and now you're out here in the ocean. There's like a little dock thing here. You can walk around on it, but I don't think there's anything like secrets, no items to find here. There's this whole thing. It's basically just a big hole, drainage hole. I don't know what you would call it, but it just goes right down to a grate in the wall. Now, you may have seen that ship over there. There's actually like a boat out on the horizon, and believe it or not, you can actually go there. This propeller thing is the best way to get there, but you don't actually need it because you can walk on the water. And I have walked here before. It takes a little while, but it is possible. Now, I was kind of expecting the boat to just be like an object. Like, I wasn't expecting there to be really anything here. I thought maybe they didn't expect anyone to get out here this far. But knowing this game and thinking about it a second time, I think maybe they did expect people to get here, especially because if you go on this side, there's all these like AI generated photos, just like random AI photos. So yeah, that's very bizarre. I don't know what to think about that, but it's a fun little thing to find if you can actually figure out a way to get out of the invisible wall and over here. And so yeah, that's BABBDI. It's a really interesting game. Honestly, it was not what I was expecting, but once I kind of realized what kind of game it is, I really enjoyed it. And that's basically all I have to say about the game. Like I said, it's a short game. This will probably be a shorter video. I don't have too much to say or to talk about, other than the fact that I really enjoyed playing through this game and exploring the little world. I hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.